Welcome, everybody. It's August 12th. Scott Riley, the Market Update Desk, NMLS 157524 with Mortgage One. Tigers won last night. I watched the game. Gave us a little bit of a heart attack with Kenley Jansen throwing some not great pitches in the ninth. Today, we got CPI, Consumer Price Index, for July. That's consumer inflation. The non rounded full number was plus 7/100, 0.007, a really good number. So the rounded number that you'll see in all the details or media will show as 0.1% or 1/10. What that did is that brought year over year consumer inflation down from 3.5 to 3.4%. Not as cool as last month's minus 4, but was still a really healthy number. Now, 29% of that drop was attributed to gas prices, which came in lower than expected. I'm sorry, 2.9% of the drop was based on gas prices. Now, the core, which removes the volatile food and energy, showed that it was up 0.2% year over year, and that was down 1/10 year over year from 2.6 to 2.5%. So we're headed in the right direction. Now, when we look at a 3-month run rate, because the Fed does look at intermediary timeframes too, the 3-month run rate for inflation is 1.64%. A lot of that, obviously, is from the decrease in utility costs, from lower energy prices, from lower oil that we got in June and July. Now, shelter, which is about 45% of the total index, that showed a nice, cool number of up 0.1%. And year over year, it has slowed down to up 3.2%. What helped with that is rent and owner's equivalent rent, OER, was only up 0.26% month over month. And also lodging away from home decelerated a negative 2.75%, but that is a number that's volatile a little bit, so it's not weighted as much. All this data, now granted, it was not as cool as what the June numbers were. We are seeing these July numbers were very good. So that brought the odds of a September rate hike, which there was a lot of talk about that at the last meeting, that fell to a 38% opportunity. Specifically, those three voting members that requested or voted for a rate increase, they mentioned rising inflation and a healthy employment market. But we found out the employment market's really not as healthy and strong as they thought or they indicated, and inflation is decelerating. Now, one thing to the negative side today, we saw the July budget deficit numbers come out. So we saw an increase of $32 billion from the deficit. That's an increase of 48% month over month. 48% increase from what last July's reading was. So that's a pretty big number. Attributing to that was increases in Medicare cost up $103 billion. Tariff refunds, this is a new part of the equation that we'll have to follow closely. That added $33 billion. And here's the second biggest one right behind Medicare costs. Debt service. So year to date for the fiscal year that ends in October, if I'm not mistaken, we're at 1.7 trillion. That's with a really large T for debt service, interest on the debt that we're paying. So fiscal year to date, 1.7 trillion. That's a big, big number. So the market today is reacting somewhat positively. 10-year Treasury is down 1 basis point to 4.66. Mortgage-backed securities up 13. That's a good thing. And the Dow is up a whopping 11 points, so essentially flat. But still, we're sitting on the Dow at 53.8, which has had a gigantic increase over the last 6 to 10 weeks. Oil down 31 cents to 82.89. Now that is up from early last week when we saw oil get a 70 handle on it. So really, if we can continue oil to get back to where it was, low 70s to mid 60s, it's a balance point. that then the 10-year treasury will have most likely a nice pathway down to maybe the low 4.3 yields, which is where the next big level of resistance is. So we're watching all this closely, keeping people up to date. Got 2 clear to close loans yesterday. So we're here to help you out as buyers and our past customers do refinances to maybe consolidate debt and lower your weighted average of all your debt and save you thousands of dollars. Give us a call, 616-293-2189. Scott Riley, the Market Update Desk, your original singular market news source for Western Michigan. Have a great day.